Hey, what's up guys? Brownie here, coming to you with another AFKJourney video, and today I was sitting down and I was thinking about what could I, possibly do a video on today, and I was thinking like there's not a whole lot. I've only got 5 days left until we get the Song of Strife update on my server, and really each day the only content that I have to do is Arena and Dream Realm. And we've done plenty of videos on Dream Realm. We've done a ton of videos on Arena and my PvP team and stuff, but I haven't really talked about why I built the team I built and why I kind of always build against the meta instead of building with the meta and just doing what seems to be the most efficient thing or the most effective thing possible. And mainly it's because if you're doing that, you're gonna be, especially in arena. So don't think about PvE at the moment. Like, where I'm kind of only talking about the arena side of things. So if you're competing against whales in a game like this, and you build the meta team, which is most likely what the whales are building too, it basically comes down to being a wallet war. And it's whoever has the most invested team. If you have mirror matches, aside from being able to maybe finagle your team's positioning and stuff, it just comes down to who has the most investment in their heroes. And I find that sort of boring, and I can't compete that way. Like, there's just people are just always gonna out invest me in their heroes and stuff, and I have to find a different way around it. So one of the bonuses to doing that is you can actually build a team or design a team that can counter some of these big, super highly invested teams with a much less invested team. So like, I guess while I'm doing this video, I'll just play some PvP fights. So I have a bunch of attempts and stuff I did here. So this guy Fluster, we'll talk about him for a second here. So he has X20 weapon Arden here. So he's got a really strong team. I think he's close to like 800, or he's over 800k power, I think. He definitely outpowers me by a ton, and it's the very defensive team with the Damien and the Hewin. So we'll just go ahead and play some fights. You guys can watch these as I'm talking, but yeah, you can, when you're trying to build your own team to counter the meta, you can find a team that counters these meta teams, and you might not have to put as much investment into it to see way more success. Like this team that I'm fighting, sometimes it beats me, but for the most part I can win a huge chunk of the time, and I have way less invested in my heroes. Scarlita's still not Supreme Plus, and he's got way better X weapons than I do, so that's a thing. Now, another reason I like to build counter to the meta is because when you're testing your own team out and figuring out what heroes to put on, all that kind of stuff, you're going to learn a ton about the game and the heroes in it. And then you're also going to learn a ton about positioning and skill interactions, skill synergies, and just all kinds of different things. Like, for example, when you're fighting an Aaron team, having them put their Damien up here in the corner, blocking the entrance to this little back side here, is an extremely effective way to protect that Arden from any kind of melee character, because that side of the arena only has one entrance then, and Thorin is usually protecting it. And another way to utilize what you've learned while you've been building your team and testing it out, this time we're on defense here. So I'll be the red team. The other way you can use the things you've learned is by building your own version of the meta team and utilizing those little things, like using the Damien to block off this side of the arena and only have one entrance here in the front, or maybe putting a tankier hero in the back line, or just using the Arena 3 because this protects you from Rainier. I couldn't remember his name there for a second. This battlefield, Arena 3, has very, very few symmetrical tile spaces where Rainier can be utilized. and that's something else that you'll learn as you're, you know, constantly doing tests and things like that. You can't be afraid to, you know, use your attempts to fight a person that might be stronger than you, because if you're always fighting weaker opponents, you're never going to learn anything. You need to fight opponents that are much stronger than, not a super stronger, but you want them to be at least at your level or a bit stronger, so you can, you know, see the weaknesses in your own lineup. Now, another little bonus to countering the meta is that, like, when you're choosing your opponent and you're attacking them and they see that you're beating them each day, or, you know, you have a few opponents that you hit each day and you're always winning, maybe they only win like one out of 3 or 1 out of 4 or something like that. They might get frustrated and start changing their defense up a little bit, and that will cause them to get, or that will cause them to be weak against other opponents that are also running their same team or things like that, because if they start specializing to defend against you, then they're going to end up having trouble against a lot of these other teams that are utilizing the same type of team they are. So that's another little bonus that comes with building counter to the meta. Now, to talk about my team and each hero individually, we can do that, and because I did want to do a video where I talked in detail about why I chose each hero and all that kind of stuff, so let's go ahead and do that. I'll just play another fight here. Okay, so the first hero on my team, Shakir. He basically becomes my tank. He's also, his role is to basically be distraction, because once he does his active, he's not able to be CC'd, and he's also very tough. He's also providing a bunch of damage reduction and attack stats to anybody that's close to him, at least within 2 tiles. And then, actually, one cute little thing about Shakir, if you put him as your rearmost ally, or your rearmost hero, and then run Awakening spell, he'll be CC immune for the first 20 seconds of battle, and he'll have his active up way before that ends. So he's basically CC immune for almost the whole battle, because by the time his active runs out, the fight should probably be done, I would think. But if it goes on much longer, obviously he's not going to be CC immune for the whole fight, but for a huge chunk of that fight, he'll be CC immune from start to almost finish. So that's kind of cool, a cool little thing about Shakir. Now, to go ahead and move on to the next hero. So the next hero we'll talk about is going to be Seth, I guess, and he's a great hero. I really love this hero, and mainly the thing you want to focus on about him is he can get bloodlust stacks. He can get 3 stacks per fight, so maximum of 3 stacks, and every time he gets a stack, he gets 12 haste, 10 life drain, and the first initial stack gives him 25 crit chance, and then it also gives him 25% physical defense and magic defense. So that's a huge bonus to these AFKJourney teams, and gives him a bit more survivability, because AFKJourney, you know, shreds magic defense, so does Carolina, and any kind of magic defense you can get back is a big help to countering these AFKJourney teams. Now, the other cool thing about him is his ult heals him. So, well, it heals him when he has Bloodlust, and at least on my team, he's almost always gonna have Bloodlust, like pretty quick into the fight. His first ultimate, he'll have Bloodlust up. So, the next thing about him is Predator's Lunge. It resets on kill, and he does that skill does damage based on missing HP. So the more HP the enemy is missing, the more damage you're gonna do to them, and it hits hard. It hits really hard. And then with the kill, it resets, and it just keeps combining, and he does more he reduces physical defense on enemies when he is casting Predator's Lunge and has Bloodlust, so that's always a bonus too, and just causes him to do tons of damage, especially with his active also. Now the next hero is going to be Vala, and Vala is a very interesting hero, or I don't know that she's interesting. She's just freaking really good. So she's got lots of burst. She gets the enemy below 50% HP super fast. So that gives Seth a bloodlust stack really quickly. She also has her true damage form, and she does energy manipulation. She also can't be targeted after a kill. So now that's two things that happen whenever I get a kill. Seth resets his Predator's Lunge, and that does a ton of damage. And then Vala's also hiding in the darkness, and she's also healing herself when she, kills one of those marked enemies. So there's two very big things that help my team in the fight to get wins, and it just kind of compounds onto each other. Now the fourth hero, I think it's the fourth hero now. She is Sylvina, and Sylvina is a pretty cool character or a hero to put on this team because, well, she doesn't have to survive. She just needs to do her initial job, and basically that's all you need from her. So she stuns her target for 5 seconds at the start of the fight, which is huge, especially when it's against Aaron or it's against one of the healers or one of the big damage dealers. You can put her up to basically target almost any hero, aside from when you're on Arena Map 3. Then it becomes where she only has really like 2 squares that she can go between, and that's only if there's enemy heroes on those squares. Other than that, she's almost always going to have a dedicated marked hero that you can't really, I wish I could show you, but I don't have any attempts right now. But there's always going to be a dagger above somebody's head. But you could put her on any spot on your side of the map, and that dagger won't move if they have their heroes positioned properly. But anyway, what she does is she also gets another hero, because Vala and Sylvina will not usually, but you can have them target 2 different enemies. So each one of them will get their prospective enemy below 50% HP rather quickly, and that will give Seth 2 bloodlust stacks, like pretty much right off the bat. And that's another huge bonus to Seth, or for Seth, because it's just gonna let him get a kill that much faster. Like right there, you might not have seen it, but he got a kill on the backline healer there, and that reset Predator's Lunge, which he was able to cast again, and I think he ended up targeting the Chariot, which sometimes happens, especially against these Damien teams. I hate that Chariot. But she's just a great hero. The other thing she does is when she gets a kill on an enemy, she fears them, or she fears the other enemies within 2 tiles, and that triggers on death. So now there's 3 things on death that happen. We have Sylvina doing fears, we have Vala hiding in the darkness and healing herself if she's killed the marked enemy, and then Seth is resetting Predator's Lunge, which just basically resets the chain reaction of huge damage to the enemies, and you just kind of chunk through them one at a time, and it's really fun to watch. The last hero is Scarlita, and Scarlita's basically there as extra support. She provides a shield that at Supreme Plus gives you more magic defense and physical defense, which is huge because it gives that hero that's being shielded half of Scarlita's magical and physical defense, which is a huge number. So it can make that hero on your team super tanky. And that's going to be huge for Seth when he's in that back line, and because a lot of times he'll be fighting Aaron, and the one other good thing about my team is it spreads out a ton. So I'll have 2 heroes on the back line, Vala will be jumping around, and then Shakir will be over by Thorin doing whatever, Scarlita's up in the air. So what's Aaron going to do? He ends up doing his tornado on Seth and Sylvina, and Shakir and Vala are completely unaffected by it. So it kind of hinders the enemy Aaron a lot with doing what he wants to do. You can't suck in your whole team, and that just helps you win a ton of matches. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for the video. I hope this made some kind of sense. Maybe when I rewatch this, I'll have to redo it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.